The world doesn't have to be ending for it to be considered news, and Calvin, our resident dumpster diving journalist, digs deep to find the stories too weird for major media to cover. You might have the blues and you just want to snooze, but when it comes to the news, there's only one man you choose. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Weird News with Calvin.
Thank you for tuning in to Weird News with Calvin. I am Calvin, and this is Weird News. With me, I'm Calvin, and this is Weird News with Calvin. Who is me? That's me, I'm Calvin. And this segment is Weird News with Calvin.
You're welcome.
How would you describe this news?
It's weird.
And who are you?
Calvin.
Okay.
Perfect. I am joined today, as always, by my co-hosts from the podcast Unmasked on Air. I'm Calvin.
I'm Dylan.
I'm PJ.
And I'm Derek.
And today, our headline comes to us from ladbible.com. This was published on March 5th of this year. Passenger arrested for getting naked to watch porn on Malaysian flight.
Well, of course.
Well, how else do you do it?
I snopesed this. It happened. Okay. The article begins. There are many annoying, cringeworthy, or just plain horrific experiences that passengers have had to endure on commercial flights. Farting men and screaming children being just two, but this one probably tops the lot. A passenger on a flight from Malaysia has been arrested after he bizarrely decided to strip off mid-flight, load up some high-quality porn on his phone, lie back, and have a wank. The man, a 20-year-old Bangladeshi student at a Malaysian university, also walked to the toilet with no clothing on, pissed all over his seat, and attacked a flight attendant during the flight
Oh my God.
from Kuala Lumpur to Dhaka on Saturday, the Star Online reported. Photos of the man have been doing the rounds on social media because, of course, you'd take a photo of an incident that's weird. Here is a photo to prove to you.
Oh my God.
He's just stark nude, rocked back, and tug. He's tugging, man. Like, he's tugging.
Look at
Looks
that
all
O
orange
face.
and misshapen.
No, I think that's just a blur, Dylan.
Oh.
A witness said the man started behaving aggressively towards flight crew after they asked him kindly to put his clothes back on, attacking the head stewardess, keeping in mind he's naked. This came after the man allegedly tried to hug female staff members while nude and on his way to the toilet. Just your average passenger then, nothing to see here. The cabin crew approached him and politely asked him to put on his clothes, the witnesses told the Sun Daily. He complied with their request. A short while later, there was some commotion at the toilet area, and it turned out that he was harassing a stewardess. The man was acting so bizarrely that cabin crew and passengers had no choice but to restrain him, no doubt to the relief on everyone on board. I'm just going to go ahead and make just a quick point. Hopefully it was not to the relief of the man. Staff eventually tied his hands with a piece of cloth for the rest of the flight, and he was quickly arrested when the plane finally landed in Dhaka. Milano Air, the airline with which the incident occurred, confirmed via a representative on its Facebook page that it was aware of a, quote, disruptive passenger that had been on board the flight. Quote, the crew on board has followed the standard operating procedure in restraining the passenger from causing further disruption on board the flight, the statement read. The disruptive passenger was accompanied by Dhaka security team upon arrival, and he has been put to jail by the authorities there. The airline will continue to stay vigilant and ensure passengers travel soundly. It's currently not yet known why the man was acting so strangely, but needless to say that this in-flight incident puts all others in the shade. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Literally, because that shit is sticky.
Well, you know, and I just have to say, like, airline travel is hard.
That is what she said.
So it's important to be comfortable, I think, when you're flying, especially if you're anxious. And I know that for some people, when you're anxious, you take a Xanax. For some people, when you're anxious, you smoke a cigarette. If you didn't have any Xanax and you can't smoke a cigarette, though, I think that having a quick rub down is a great way to release some of that tension all over the back of the headrest in front of you.
Quick tug and bust.
Right. Derek, you had your hand up. Do you have any questions for me before I begin my questions?
My main one,
Yes.
especially with the ending there, where it's like, we're going to be more vigilant. How did he get to that? Like, he's completely naked. It's not like he took his dick out.
Right.
He is completely
Stark
naked.
nude. Like,
how did he get to that point? And then he's just
Like you can't even
walking
really
around.
you can't really undress comfortably and unnoticeably in an airline seat.
right. I couldn't
also-
do that on like a charter bus, much less like so he okay, he was not next to people, but you have to assume that like the people across the aisle,
Person who took a picture of him.
David, That man is taking his pants off.
That gentleman is doing a 1-2 jerk motion. I love the situation that we're in where it's like, well, he just didn't just pull his dick out. He got totally naked.
Okay, so Derek, I agree. Like, Mike, I think the largest failing of this airline was, first of all, and I'm not shaming, but why would you do something so kinky as to tie his hands with rope if he's nude and has a boner? My second biggest failing I think that they had is, like you said, how did you let it get to the point where he is strolling down the aisle and nudely harassing stewardesses?
That sounds like a wedding.
Because, like, I don't think you're even allowed to, like, take your shirt off.
No,
on a plane.
certainly not.
They would immediately just be like, hey, no, sir, I'm sorry. You must put your shirt back on. I
Right. Now, granted, here's my thought. What if the guy was like, what the fuck are they going to do? We're in a box in the sky and nobody here has a gun. Let me whip this thing out. Like, now he was immediately arrested. Like,
right.
And you know that, like, as soon as you land, you're getting detained. Like, he must have known that. So I almost like to think, though, that this had nothing to do with, like, drug use or anything, and he really just, something tickled his fancy. Like,
That's
he
just
was
him.
just got a wild hair up his ass. It was like, I think I should really watch my phrasing. I think I'm just gonna pull myself off. As you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
You
what
can just
an
say
odd-
masturbate. I think that's a totally PC way of phrasing what it is.
Right, but a less PC way of phrasing that is pull myself off, which is the one I chose. So this weird news with Calvin.
He's
okay.
pounding off.
Which is me. I'm Calvin.
in the
This weird
nighttime.
news. So okay, so I have a couple of questions for you. I'm not going to get too personal with them because, of course, my initial question was going to be, "Where's the weirdest place you ever had a wank?" But I don't know that I want the listeners to know these answers. So, like, maybe I should avoid that. Where is the weirdest place that you think, and you can say if people are watching or not, like, whatever. If you knew there was no legal ramification, you had like a get out of jail free, you got one pass to, like, get nude and wank. Where would you like to perform said act?
So in one of those like giant propeller skydive simulators where you sit in a room and then you float into the air.
Okay, but I think the obvious train of thought, though, in a hurricane machine is what happens when you bust.
It, much like the falling snow, listfully drifts back down into the fan and then is eviscerated.
It's slung all back over the machine. Okay.
And myself.
So I'm guessing you're gonna be like back down when you're doing this, not face down.
No,
Facing into the fan. You're not supposed to spit in the wind, Peach.
let me put it to you like this.
No, please don't.
The hose
No.
is facing the current
Okay.
because I want the backlash.
Wow.
Weird. Dylan, where would you like to, if you could, without getting in any legal trouble, strip down and perform?
Spank.
I think masturbate is the PC way. That's what you sound like.
Well, I chose spank. It's weird news with Calvin.
You're not Calvin. I'm Calvin. I said it 50 times.
I am Calvin now.
I think I've got mine.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Derek.
If I could, with no legal ramifications. So they've just recently redone at Magic Kingdom the Pirates of the Caribbean.
They have. Which part are you going to splay out in?
So most people are gonna imagine, like, whenever Barbossa's up on the ship or when Johnny
Too far
Depp's
away.
in the scene. Yeah, I love really strong women.
Uh-huh.
Like, they're maybe not necessarily powerful. Like, I don't need them to lift me, but just like she takes charge.
Right, yeah.
And so the new version of the
Auction?
the auction scene, yes, has been redone, and the redhead has now taken a new role. She has a gun, and she is like in charge of what's going on there, and that gets me.
So what you're
That
going to
gets
do
me
is you're
there.
going to pass that and then masturbate to the gentleman sleeping with many pigs.
Yeah.
Well, you could go twice as long as it's in as long as it's in the same, like, moments.
That
right?
makes sense. That makes sense.
I like how he came up with a scenario where at least he has a reason to be doing what he's doing.
Dylan, where in public, if you could, with a pass to do so with free of legal ramification, where would you like to perform on yourself? Stark nude. This is turning into a game. How many different ways can we say that?
I want to go with like in the middle of a carnival.
Like in the
Like-
middle of passersby, or actually like as an attraction?
Kind of like an attraction, but I don't want to be like I want to be center stage, but I don't want to be the focal point because I want like elephants like riding unicycles around me, trapeze artists
So
going
you're
up
talking like a
about.
full-blown circus.
Yeah,
And
and,
then-
like all this stuff's going around me, but I'm just like down on the floor in the center, just.
It's
And then when he goes, it's confetti.
Oh
And
yeah.
like,
it's like the greatest showman becomes the greatest snowman.
oh my god.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh fuck! And then Hugh Jackman comes out, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention? And it's
I'm
just
jerking
Dylan.
off my pee.
Okay, so
if Hugh Jackman's gonna be there, then
well,
that just
Hugh
makes
Jackman has to be there, and nothing but a top hat and a tailcoat, and he's going too. Why not? He's just right there looking at you, making eye contact while you're just laid out like an angel on the
it. And
sand.
everyone's just into it. They're like, yeah.
Oh yeah, well it'd be a full musical number, and then at the end, confetti everywhere out of your penis. So
Penis confetti.
yeah, which is like regular confetti, but it hurts a lot worse. So
It's like that birthday cake icing.
gross. No,
Sorry,
Yes.
it's thick, it's white, and it has fucking confetti in it. What line
Yeah,
am I supposed to
paper
draw?
that one. Okay, so my answer is I would like to go to Washington D.C. I would like to climb up and sit on Abe Lincoln's
Oh
lap
god.
at the
How did I
Lincoln
know
Memorial.
this was going this way?
I would like to be nude in his powerful statuesque form, and I would like to wait until there is a large group of people before I then practiced on targets, on
Like
moving
tor-
targets. Oh my god. Trying to, but see, I don't know that I would have an easy time with everybody looking at me.
Right.
But honestly, knowing that I can't get in any kind of trouble for this, what's the worst thing that happens? Except it takes me a couple hours. Like it takes me like an exorbitantly long amount of time. I'm a show person. Like
who's
I'm
to
an
say-
Just
entertainer.
the image of you sitting up on giant Abraham Lincoln's lap.
Right. Well, and I don't know if you've ever been there. If you've never like paid attention, he is like easily 15 times the size of a normal. He's massive. So I would just be this very small, like baby type, like
Right.
just having a go. And I think
Oh my
that's
god,
where
if
I
you're
would
sitting
go.
in his lap, he comes alive and thinks you're his penis, and then he starts doing
Squeezing
it
me off?
to you.
my body.
Just, wow,
I
no.
well, see, I like to imagine he's a giant robot that is the Pentagon's last resort, and he's like full of nukes and stuff. So
like,
he'd just be
Liberty Prime. and
right,
Fallout.
exactly. Except it's a giant Abe Lincoln. So okay, the other question that I have for you is that if you were on that plane and you saw our friend strip down and begin to spank, this is a twofold question. So listen closely to both parts. At what point would you have tried to stop it? And what would you have done if you could not have stopped it? What would you have done on that plane? Peach. Like
Dick in hand.
Is where-
is when
that's where you would
That's when
draw
I
the
move
line.
in for the kill. I'm like, this has to end.
okay, so you let him strip all the way down, get an erection, and then grip it, and now you're like, nah.
No,
okay,
no.
Gotcha.
Now, when I have, when he springs to action and I want him to stop,
Right.
my own. When he is at full mast and I want him to go back to sleep,
Right.
what I have found helps is I picture a waving American flag and I sing the national anthem in my head.
Which is one of my favorite things you've ever said.
Because patriotism kills boners. It's true. Try it at home right now. It's
true.
See? So what I would do is God bless. So
America. Yeah, it's weird.
no,
I'm
that's God
twice
bless
as hard.
America. It would be that's God bless America. But like he's grabs it and when the rockets ring clear
On a Malaysian flight.
and that guy's like, oh fuck. He starts shuffling.
Oh, you
putting
think
his
that would
hands
just
back.
solve it? Okay.
Well,
good
once
answer.
every time. I'd learn the Malaysian national anthem and I would sing that to him.
I think as soon, like I'm gonna assume like he was testing the waters at first and the shirt came off.
Right.
He was like acting like he was just getting comfortable.
Right, which is already weird.
Yeah, and then just like if I notice that, it's like what the fuck. And then once the pants start coming off, that's when I
you're
start like hitting the button of just like, hey, anybody else
Waiter,
interested in that?
stewardess.
Stewardess, please. What was the second part of that question?
What would you then do if you could not get him to stop
I
it in
couldn't
time?
get him
Right,
to
he's
stop?
gotten there. He's doing what he's doing in that picture. He's laying the pipe. What are you gonna do about that?
I mean, I got to get my 1 second for the day, right?
If you've not seen it, you can go to Derek's Instagram at thatdrosenberg, and he posts up his 1 second videos which
second
are
of every day of the month.
Yep, 1 second of every day, and that would be a great one. It's just like, and like the audio would have to be like, what? And like, Dylan, what? At what point do you try to stop this man from stripping and masturbating? Oh, by the way, I want to correct what I said. Not laying the pipe, handling the pipe. He's not laying it anymore. He's doing it himself. Dylan?
I think after he takes off his shirt, I'd be like, all right, that's weird, but I'm going to ignore it.
Sure. I think me too.
But as soon as I see him like getting his belt and he's going to take
so
his
you're with
pants
Derek,
off,
like it's pants is where you
Yeah.
draw the line. Okay.
I'm going to bring up to his attention that what he's doing is not allowed.
Right.
And hope that he has the wherewithal to
So
be like,
once he
I
begins,
shouldn't do this.
right, once he begins jerking the gherkin, though, what do you do to stop it?
I don't know what I would want to do. I just want to like
You don't want to get involved.
ignore that.
Just scream at him. Just stop. Stop. And he's like, I can't hear you over all this blood in my ears.
All right.
Like down.
I'm going to answer truthfully. I'd let the man get down to his underpants before I really had a problem. You do you, man. It's warm in here. Nobody likes it playing. I'm anxious too. At least, like, maybe, you know, if you have to take the underwear off, like, put a barf bag over your junk or something. Like,
but it's like once you see swamp ass firsthand, you're like, no.
Right. No, you need to put it away. And then what I would do to stop him is I would... And I couldn't obviously begin to masturbate in public because I don't have that, you know, hypothetical get out of jail free
You
card.
already used your
situation.
card.
Right, on Abe Lincoln. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to hop in the seat in front of him, turn around, like, you know, up on your knees so you can, like, talk to the guy, right? But I'm going to pretend that I'm pounding off. So I'm just going to start hitting the chair a lot, right?
Just making eye
And
contact.
I'm just going to dead eye him the whole time. And then if he starts to get weird, I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, don't stop. You keep going. And I guarantee you he's either going to stop or I'm going to get wrapped up a lot faster.
Just like pull out a pair of binoculars and just start watching him.
Exactly.
Just like blatantly hope he gets
Exactly.
real uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah, no. And
I don't think he will.
No, well,
he's naked on an airplane. I don't
Start,
think.
start spitting at him.
Let me explain this. Like I said.
That's why I didn't know what to do because I don't think I could embarrass him.
Let me explain this. Like I said, either he will stop or he'll enjoy it and he'll just get over with faster, right? And then I'm going to have to just well-time my duck and cover. That was weird self-gratification coverage on a Malaysian
A
Air
lot
Flight
of
Weird
these are
News.
about that.
A lot of them are about
Masturbation.
sexual stuff and masturbation. Yes. This has been Weird News with Calvin.
The flight's long, the shaft is hard, and the news is weird. This is Weird News with Calvin.